This president believes he is above the law.
You're going to impeach and remove a president for this.
70% of Americans say Trump's actions tied to Ukraine were wrong.
Today's hearing marks the merciful end of this spectacle in the impeachment committee.
The impeachment showdown in the hallowed halls of Congress is beaming across the country into the living rooms and classrooms.
Intelligence agencies. Years later, I can say with confidence that this country has offered me opportunities I never would have had in England.
A history lesson broadcast live and in real time for these middle schoolers in New Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Thoughts on Dr. Hill? What's your initial takeaway, Caden?
Her ancestors have done a lot for America in the past.
A teachable moment.
As a civics teacher, I find it my responsibility to showcase this moment in time is an historic time where the leader of the free world is under investigation for impeachment. Which two presidents have been impeached thus far?
A lesson in civics.
Emma?
Andrew Johnson.
And civility.
And Elliot?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
And how our democracy works.
The impact of the successful 2016 Russian campaign remains evident today. Our nation is being torn apart. Truth is questioned.
Let me just ask this, because I think it's interesting. This is some difficult stuff. If you can make our leader look like they're an illegitimate leader, what have you just done to our country? You made it look
weak.
Made it look weak. Do you think Russia would benefit from that? Yeah, and so this is what she's kind of trying to unpack here. You're 13, 14, you're not expected to be experts in foreign policy, but someday you will.
What these students and their parents and grandparents take away from this process is really what matters most.
It's like a very important process that needs to happen.
So remember yesterday?
Sondland.
Sondland, yeah. Do you remember what his title is or what he is? Emma?
The ambassador of
The ambassador of the... It's okay if you don't know.
Yeah, I forget.
This is small-town America, Trump country. In 2016, Donald Trump won the surrounding counties by a landslide. Nightline was here.
We feel welcome now.
My colleague Terry Moran paid a visit to Dr. Harmon's class shortly before Election Day.
All right, we're going to look at today political ads.
These students called it. Their straw poll lined up just like how their parents would vote days later.
Hillary Clinton, 48. Donald Trump, 340. Donald Trump with a landslide victory here
At Redbank Valley.
at Redbank Valley.
Today, a much different process, rarer than any election.
What did he mean by President Trump benefiting from an investigation in Joe Biden?
Trump's going against Joe Biden in the 2020 election.
Okay.
So if people find out that Biden has done like something wrong, they might not vote for him.
But the students get what's at stake.
He's not arguing that Trump didn't do anything wrong. He's just saying that it's not impeachable.
He will be impeached, but I think the Senate won't convict him.
Today's most relatable bit of testimony came from David Holmes, a Foreign Service officer serving in the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. He told the committee about a phone call he overheard in July.
I could hear the president's voice through the earpiece of the phone. The president's voice was loud and recognizable. And Ambassador Sondland held the phone away from his ear for a period of time, presumably because of the loud volume.
Ambassador Gordon Sondland was with Holmes at a restaurant in Kiev, reporting back to President Trump about their meeting with the Ukrainian president.
I then heard President Trump ask, so he's going to do the investigation. Ambassador Sondland replied that he's going to do it.
I think it'd be more private, like he'd try to talk to Trump privately and not right at the table with everyone.
It was a little weird how he said that he was holding it away from his face even though it wasn't on speakerphone.
What do you think, Emma?
I mean, if it wasn't on speakerphone, it would have to be extremely loud for him to hear it.
That's exactly what President Trump picked up on, inviting his supporters to try it, tweeting, "Never have I been watching a person making a call which was not on speakerphone and been able to hear or understand a conversation. I've even tried, but to no avail. Try it live."
The unfortunate truth is that Russia was the foreign power that systematically attacked our democratic institutions in 2016.
Another moment that cut through today, this one from Fiona Hill.
I had a bit of a blow-up with Ambassador Sondland, and I had a couple of testy encounters with him.
Did you see what her title is? Does anyone know her title? You want to look it up? We can Google it.
According to Google, she was the administration's top Russia expert until she resigned over the summer. She testified about how she clashed with Ambassador Sondland over Ukraine.
I actually said to him, "Who put you in charge of Ukraine?" And I'll admit I was a bit rude, and that's when he told me the president would shut me up. He was absolutely right, because he was being involved in a domestic political errand, and we were being involved in national security foreign policy, and those two things had just diverged.
At the end of 5 days of testimony, it seems pretty clear that the Democrats are going to move forward with articles of impeachment against the president. The question is going to be, what are those articles?
Why isn't it just impeachment equals removal from office? Do you know what I'm asking, Lily?
It has to go through the Senate, too.
Yeah, it has to go through both steps.
Perhaps with that next step in mind, today the president launched a charm offensive, inviting Republican senators, who will likely decide this case, to lunch. Interestingly, the Redbank students debated if Trump should testify in his own defense.
We'll start with Elliot, and we'll just work our way over.
No, definitely not, because I think he's going to blow it. He's going to say something stupid and ruin it for himself, so I think he shouldn't.
Okay, Claire.
The people at these hearings and stuff are like professional at asking all these questions and stuff, and I just don't know if Trump would be able to answer all the questions like correctly, I guess.
8th grader Seth Barrett also talks politics at the dinner table. His parents, Adam and Wendy, went to Redbank when they were kids. They recently sold their family dairy farm, but Adam found work right away. Proof, they say, of the strong economy under Trump.
People vote with their pocketbooks and their wallets 90% of the time. Unless there's some catastrophe in the next year, I don't think there's any chance of him not being reelected.
They're following impeachment.
We teach our boys it's okay when they talk about these things in school. You're going to have different opinions than your friends, and that's okay. You don't need to get upset. You don't need to say mean things to one another. Just be fair and listen to them.
But they're not at all convinced. I'm David Wright for Nightline in New York.
You can follow complete impeachment coverage at abcnews.com.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.